All right. This is very broken up here. All right, so the question is, how are you going to resist the manipulation of being threatened and offered a reward simultaneously? And the answer is, you don't know, and I don't know. I mean, nobody knows. What are you going to do in any given situation? In one situation, maybe you will do the quote-unquote right thing, the noble thing, the respectable thing, the admirable. And in a different situation, you do the opposite. I mean, that's just the way our lives are, right? I mean, the people we call great are the people who do the right, good, and admirable thing consistently. Okay? But there's a reason we call them great. There's a reason we hold them in high esteem. It's because they're rare, right? I mean, most of us are sort of unpredictable, inconsistent. You know, we have our good days, we have our bad days. So when they start implementing these techniques and these strategies across a population, then the part of the strategy becomes to just do it continually, and eventually you'll get everybody. Because eventually everybody will fall. Eventually everybody will have a bad day. I mean, and you really, there's a certain sense, to a certain degree, you only have to get somebody once, right? And that's what happens with these politicians. They're not quote-unquote bad people. They're just people, you know? And they hold positions that evil people want, because their positions are positions of such that they oversee millions and hundreds of millions and billions and trillions of dollars. So the most evilest, what's that phrase from that movie, The Grinch? You know, whatever they said about the Grinch, the most nastiest, evilest, ugliest, stinkiest, you know, the most evilest people in the world gravitate towards those places that hold the greatest reward of power and wealth. You know, the rest of us, it's like, it's like, do you want to have control and influence over, over a $6 billion, $8 billion budget? Most of us would be like, I mean, what for? Why? I mean, it's like, sure, it sounds good and everything, but I'm pretty happy where I am, because I'm grateful, I have my little just $60,000 a year job or whatever, and 60,000, 100,000, 600,000, whatever. I mean, everything's relative. It's like 600,000 to somebody who controls an $8 billion budget. I mean, that's not a lot of money anymore. Maybe it used to be, but no, it's like, it's not a lot anymore. So it's not really. So people in these positions, these lower positions of 60,000, 300,000, 600,000, these low-level positions of income and power and influence, the idea, it's a foreign concept. It's not something we sit around and lust about, it's just like, no, we're pretty great, so these positions attract the evilest, nastiest, ugliest, wickedest people you can imagine, that even more than you can imagine, so these politicians, who are the low-level people by and large most of the time, they're just local people that want to serve the community, and now they come into contact with these super evil, beyond all imagination, beyond all ability for anybody to predict or even describe, if these politicians want to come back to their hometown folk and try to explain what it's like, how would you even explain that? How do you, there's no words to explain what the most evilest, nastiest, wickedest people are like. Without. There are words to explain it, but there are no words to explain it without making everybody think you've lost your mind. That's it right there. So these homegrown, hometown politicians who used to be innocent, right? It's like they're no longer innocent. Because now they've seen a side to the world that they never knew existed and that nobody else can understand. Okay? They're caught between a rock and a hard place. They go around and start talking about something that makes their own people think they've lost their mind, and they anger the people behind the thing that they're talking about. You see? It's a lose-lose proposition for them. It's almost as if they have no choice but to go along. So this is the way the world really works, I believe. Okay, we think people go to work, they pay their bills, they have children, they clean their house, they make everything pretty, and buy new clothes, and I make a lot of money. Oh, it's so wonderful, and that's it. And we think that that's it. The reality is that there is an entire another universe, and I don't mean that like a Bill Nye the Science Guy or Neil deGrasse Tyson or Star Wars or scientific philosophical. I don't mean it that way. I mean it in a very real, literal sense, but it borders on the philosophical because it's literally another world without literally being another world, if that makes any sense. It's a world that is completely unfamiliar to 99% of the people walking on the earth right now. And I'm at my next stop, so I have to stop. Come back again.